to Europe's most aggressive wartime financier. When a state once defined by neutrality and diplomacy suddenly begins writing the biggest checks, sending the most advanced weapons, and daring Moscow to respond, the answer is Norway. And its shocking military pledge to Ukraine has detonated across Europe like a thunderclap. For decades, Norway was the soft power country, famous for peace talks, humanitarian aid, and oil wealth. But in 2025, Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Støre stood shoulder to shoulder with President Volodymyr Zelensky in Kiev and announced a figure that stunned even hardened military planners: $8.5 billion in fresh aid for 2026. Not spread across years, not vague commitments. 1 year, one sum, one message. Norway is now a war power. Moscow's response was immediate fury. Russian jets buzzed Norwegian airspace for the first time in a decade. Electronic warfare and GPS jamming intensified. The Russian embassy accused Oslo of adding fuel to the fire. But for Norway's leadership, the stakes were clear. Ukraine's fight is not only about Kiev's survival, it is about Europe's survival, and the numbers back it up. By 2025, Norway was spending 3.3% of its GDP on defense, dwarfing most NATO allies and far exceeding the 2% benchmark. By 2030, the government has vowed to hit 5% of GDP, more than double NATO's baseline. To put that in perspective, Germany, Europe's largest economy, still struggles to meet 2%. Norway, with just 5.5 million people, is outspending nearly everyone. Yes, Norway is sending Patriot missile batteries, NASAMS systems, advanced radars, and even building weapons factories inside Ukraine itself. It is financing brigades, training soldiers abroad, and embedding its defense industry directly into Ukraine's war effort. In other words, Oslo isn't just supporting the fight, it is helping to build Ukraine's future military machine. But why? Because Norway knows its geography. Its long Arctic border with Russia, its role as Europe's top gas supplier after Moscow's cutoff, its $1.8 trillion sovereign wealth fund that makes it uniquely capable of sustaining such massive aid. If Ukraine falls, Norway's own security hangs in the balance. But how did this transformation happen so fast? How did Norway go from peace broker to war engine in less than 3 years? And can this tiny Nordic state truly carry the weight of Europe's front line against Russia? To answer that, we start at the beginning, with the story of a nation that abandoned neutrality, embraced militarization,